So this is Northwood. Just on the edge of the NATO base and Batchworth Lane Road. And very nice day. It's a bit cold, probably not very many degrees. A small bunch of them, maybe 8 or 9 or something, maybe a little bit less. Hard to know at the start of winter because you sort of acclimatise to it, you know, and you think this is colder than it has been, must be really cold. And you look and it's a few degrees less than you've had so far. So, but I'd say 8 or 9. It's probably around 1 p.m-ish, somewhere around that. No, a bit later, 2 probably. But yeah, it's a very interesting little spot. There's a NATO base there on the edge of it. There's a lot of what was, I guess, military housing. I think you can buy them now. They don't seem to come up very often. They're like, what they used to call them, like not social housing, like community housing. There's seen some before where, you know, you get like a little sort of police office or a little tiny doctor's surgery or something where the doctor actually lives there as well. Don't seem to get those anymore here in the UK, but anyway, I haven't been in one of the ones here, but I've been in something similar, and although they're quite solidly built, they do feel like a 1930s hospital. They've got very thick walls. You imagine them to have, and maybe they did have at one point, sort of oil-fired, you know, big boilers and oil-fired central heating with those big rads that we used to get in school years ago. But anyway, yeah, they don't come up very often, but there are 1 or 2 that have been quite, well, I wouldn't even say extended. They look like they've been knocked down and rebuilt. But then you come, you know, just a few yards away from that, and you're into these. This is Davenham Avenue now. It's a very nice spot all around here, like Eastbury and stuff. So let's see if I can zoom in. So that's just in front of that big building there. Are some oops, just trying to get the zoom right. It's hard to get it back to 0 again, and I don't want a fisheye lens. Where is it? Oh, there it is. He's looking at the wrong thing. Anyway, yeah, just in front of that big building is a razor-wired fence. So obviously you can't go in there unless you so desire. There's various different ways of getting in there. Some of them will get you shot, some of them will get you turned away. You'll always get your credentials felt, for want of a better way of putting it. Not that, I did once speak to one of the guys, armed guards or soldiers or whatever, on duty once. That's another story, but no, I've never been in there. I was given permission. I didn't ask for it, but I was given opportunity of turning around inside there once, some dark, rainy night. Like I say, when I spoke to one of the soldiers on duty, and at the time the entrance wasn't tucked around the corner, it was sort of just off the main, I think it's an A road, anyway, I realised reversing out onto quite a busy road in the dark and rain in a car that, it was a saloon car, so it didn't have any rear wiper, and it was like, oh, didn't think about that. And he said, oh, do you want to come in? And he was ready to lift up the barrier, and I was like, no, I don't think I will. I don't think I'll turn around inside there, thinking you might not let me out again. Anyway, interesting little thing, but anyway, it's not really about that. It's about, I suppose it is to a degree, you know, to have that right on the edge of what we're looking at now is quite interesting, but that's not really the purpose. It was just, I was walking, it was a nice day, and I just thought, oh, let's film this bit. I might film properly how you walk around the perimeter, because that NATO base has been built right on the edge of a lot of its boundaries, public rights of way, and they're quite tucked out of the way between what else could get built there. So it's quite strange. You sort of, it's a bit of an adventure going down there. And these sort of, they're not really alleys, but you've got a little path with trees on one side and razor wire on the other, and you probably hardly ever would see anybody else walking along there. So it's quite a funny little spot, really. Anyway, I didn't record that bit. I just recorded as you come out of that into all this lot. So this is Batchworth something. You know, I've lived here 24 years. I should know what it is. It's Batchworth Lane, Road, Avenue, Road maybe. Farmway. We'll get out of the way. I'm gonna walk down there, but just wanted to maybe show down here. Actually, it's not spectacular, I suppose, but for me, I really like this this road. It's one of my favourite roads in Northwood. When you come from further back, if you're heading the way I'm facing now, at the start of this road, so in other words, back up there, you go immediately up a hill, fairly steep, very short, and then you come sweeping down, and as you get to the top, you'll be sweeping down to this, but as you get to the top, there's a view of all of that lot there, which is like, you see sort of like the canopy of the trees, and for some reason it always reminds me of being in Africa. I have no idea why, but it's just a fun little thing. As I say, it's nothing spectacular really, but for me it's one of my favourite little bits of suburbia, which I must admit is probably one of my favourite. I like suburbia, my favourite types of things, because the whole point with it is that it's busy enough for you to stay roaming around there the whole time. You know, you'll have a choice of shops and supermarkets and this, that and the others, but it's usually pretty well connected to something a lot busier or something a lot less busier. So that's why I like, being on the edge of it, because then you can still get into somewhere, some city, in this case London, or you can go a few miles the other way and be out in the proper sort of countryside. But of course that suburban belt is getting bigger and bigger, so if you were, say, somewhere like Pinner or Eastcote or something, you'd have a little bit more driving to do before you got out into the Chilterns or something like that. But even there's still, you know, randomly spattered around the places like old dairies and stuff like that. So you've got farmland still. Anyway, I like this kind of area. It's no real commitment. It's a nice area, and you haven't sort of put all your eggs in one basket. You can go busier or go quieter or get out of the country nice and simply. The airport's nearby and all the rest of it. So anyway, yeah, I'm not going to film really any more than this. I've done this before, I think, but I just thought I'd share that little clip with you for today. And this is now the Eastbury estate, and so you can duck up this one, and there's a bunch of roads coming off there, or you can carry on down this way. I'm going to just carry on down this way and save the rest for you for another day. Thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe and all the rest of it if you enjoyed this brief little look on this December Eve, as in 30th of November 2022. Okay, cheers. Bye. So just, I'm glad I stopped filming for a while actually, but I just had there's a lady who does a little bit of a thing at different event times during the year, and basically she so she's got a little sort of like Santa's grotto and stuff, and she's making her own things. So her whole house is all decked out with all of this, and I've got a photo of it. I'll put it in this video. But I was talking to just a local, you know, didn't know the lady, but she was there with, I assume it was her grandson in his pushchair. I was looking at the fairy lights and stuff, and it's just, you know, we ended up just talking about a whole bunch of nothing really, but that's what's great about this, you know. There are still bits of community around, especially if you have an opportunity to speak to someone. They usually are happy to talk back, you know, and yet we just bustle past them and stuff. But yeah, it would have been nice, but it's a bit intrusive to have filmed anything of that, but so I didn't. But nice to have the conversation anyway, just talking about different things in the area and different community things and the community spirit, and we weren't even really moaning very much either. So it was quite good. So anyway, I just thought I would add that to the end. I am going to stop filming now, and I'll see you in the next one.